What's up, guys? Orca's here, and today we have the COTA race review. I could have done this video a lot earlier, to be honest, but I kind of got caught up in stuff. So I was going to do it like immediately after the race because I think this is going to be a very brief video. But I'll just get it done now and get it done today so you guys can have it at a reasonable time. So yeah, let's get into it. So the COTA race, it was definitely up there with Phoenix for a very average race. Like, it was not very, I can't say I was very excited about the race until maybe like the very end. Like some parts with like Christopher Bell catching up to William Byron, I was hoping he'd get to at least his bumper before the race ended, but he didn't quite get there. But with that being said, William Byron, gets his second win of the year. Won the Daytona 500, and now he wins the first road course race of the year. So he won the first super speedway, and now he wins the first road course. So that's good for him. Two-time winner now. He'll be leading the standings, for most wins. I'm not sure if he has the most points. I don't think he would. Maybe he would. But he did get another win, so that's a good amount of points there. 47 points, if I believe so, and that is the most amount of points from the race. But Christopher Bell, he was behind him basically the whole race. He ended up with 45 points because Christopher Bell won stage one, staying out, played different a strategy than a lot of the other people, basically all of the other people, and got the first stage win. So that's 10 points and a playoff point right there for him, so that's good for him. Denny Hamlin won stage two, playing a similar strategy as Christopher Bell, but it didn't work so well for him come the final stage. So Christopher Bell played his strategy very well, I would say, and almost got the win too. Maybe if he had a couple more laps, he could have passed him, but, you know, it's always, if I just had one more lap, I could have passed him. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Like I said, William Byron dominated this race, though. He was playing a different strategy, so obviously he didn't win any stages, but he was leading the race by a wide margin. He probably led over 40 laps of this race out of the 68. Out of the 68 laps, he led over 40 for sure. But it's just weird. And there were no cautions except for the two-stage cautions. No cautions for cause at all. So literally zero cautions. I don't know how many races have done that, but I can't imagine that happens very often. I don't think we had one race last year that had zero cautions. There was one race that had one caution, I remember, but I don't think there was a single race last year that had zero cautions, for cause anyway. Obviously, like I said, they had the two-stage cautions for this road course, and last year they didn't have stage cautions for road courses, but they just brought that back this year. So guaranteed two cautions for the race, and we got those. But again, like I said, no cautions for cause. No one was stopped on the track or anything, so there was no reason to have cautions. That being said, though, there was a lot of spins and stuff and contact. There was a couple people that ended up laps down from cautions, and there was an early caution between LaJoie and Martin Truex Jr. that had them pretty far in the pack. I don't know what happened with LaJoie. He started in the top 5 for the race, and then he just fell back for some reason, and then got into Martin Truex Jr., and got even worse for LaJoie. And LaJoie, actually, after the end of this race, ended up in a stretcher because of the exhaustion and stuff. A lot of drivers were exhausted after this race. It was a definitely very challenging race, especially for people like Michael McDowell, whose steering got broke or something. Like, he didn't have any power steering, so he ended up last place, I believe. Unfortunate for me as a Michael McDowell fan. And he's supposed to be good at road courses, so that was really unfortunate. And then Jones ended up in like 33rd as well. So two of my favorite drivers did not do so well. And it was looking that way for Truex Jr. as well, but he ended up making his way up to exactly 10th place and actually ended up with 35 points total, which isn't bad for him at all. I think he had a really good stage 2 actually. I think he got 3rd in stage 2, so that was good as well. But it didn't work out so well for LaJoie. Like I said, multiple spins, though, by drivers. Christopher Bell, who got 2nd, actually spun Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch was not happy. He had a talk with Christopher Bell at the end of the race, but no bad blood, I don't think. I think Busch was just a little mad that that happened and had a little talk with Christopher Bell, but he still ended up 9th place, so... But he might have been able to get a top 5 if not for that spin, or who knows. But yeah, like I said, just a, pretty surface level race, definitely on the same level as Phoenix, I would say. Just really not much to talk about, honestly, except for like the spins and stuff. Ty Gibbs was running really well as well, though. But with that said, I'll just get to the drivers then. So William Byron obviously won this race, domination fashion. Kind of like Kyle Larson with Las Vegas. But that's just how it's been. It's been like one or two people that have just dominated basically every single race, except for the super speedways, of course. Except for Gilliland, who led over like 70-something laps at Atlanta. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Byron with the win, 2nd win of the season. Definitely look for him to be in the championship 4 again and might get the championship win this year based on how it's going. Christopher Bell, like I said, ran 2nd, was up in the top 5 for basically the entire day. Gets 45 points. Great race for Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs, who was also running really well, basically top 5 every second of the day, gets a top 3, and man, his race finish average is insane. It's got to be like an average of 7th place at this point. Just domination from Ty Gibbs. It's only a matter of time before he gets his first win. If he continues like this, it's only a matter of time. Alex Bowman also had a really good race, and he's known for being pretty good at this course, so 4th place isn't much of a shocker, but hey, it's good to see him running up front and getting these points. Great race for Alex Bowman. Almost was in contention for the win, but slipped back a little. He was in 2nd, and then Gibbs and Christopher Bell outran him towards the end, but still a good finish. Tyler Reddick was also up front for a lot of the race. He fell back a little bit towards the middle, had to play a little differently, but he still ended up with a top 5. Not bad for him. I forgot to mention, but I had Gibbs winning the race. Got a top 3, so not far off. AJ Allmendinger, the part-timer, gets 6th place. Obviously, we know AJ Allmendinger is probably one of the best road course racers in the Cup Series, and ends up with 6th place, which is, funnily enough, better than the finish he had at the Xfinity Series race. So that's funny enough, like I said, but hey, not bad. Ross Chastain gets a 7th, very consistent up here as well. Had a bit of trouble in stage 1. I don't think he had a good pit stop or something, and he got outran by the top people, but still ends up in the top 10, not bad. Chris Buescher, the only Ford in the top 10, with an 8th place, and just a solid run for him. Not much to say about him. Kyle Busch gets a 9th place finish despite getting spun, not bad for him. And Martin Truex Jr. gets a top 10 despite having problems at the start of the race, so good for him. Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, 11th and 12th. That's surprising to see. They were pretty quiet, but hey, they played their cards right and got a top 15. Chris Buescher or not Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe. I'm all over the place. Chase Briscoe gets a 13th place finish. Not bad for him. The fourth highest running Ford behind Buescher, Logano, and Blaney. Denny Hamlin, who had the Stage 2 win, ends up 14th. Bubba Wallace Jr., who had big problems at the beginning of the race, ends up with a 15th. Chase Elliott, who was in the top 10, ends up 16th. He got spun at one point, and just Chase Elliott needs to get it together. I don't know what's going on, but normally he's run better than this, and I expect he'll be in the playoffs this year, but so far it's not looking great. Justin Haley, 17th place finish, his second 17th place finish in a row. He was running good. He was in the top 10 for a lot of this race, so good for Justin Haley. Hey, he's running good with Rick Ware. He's doing better with Rick Ware than he was with Kaulig, so hey, that's good for Justin Haley. I'd love to see him improve a lot more. Hopefully he runs better, and I'd like to see him possibly in the high or low 20s for finish for regular season points, even though I have him lower than that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in like the low 20s for regular season points at this rate. Kyle Larson, 18th, not a great race for him. He did get spun by Christopher Bell, but just not able to keep it consistent. Austin Cindric actually has got 25 points out of this race, even though he ended up 19th. He was running pretty good at the start, but then started getting outrun and just not great finish. But, you know, it's Austin Cindric. Can't really ask for much. Zane Smith with the 20th, one of his best finishes so far of the year. He needed this one because he's been getting really bad placements since probably Atlanta, to be honest. So good for him. Shane Van Gisbergen struggled today. He was running up top for a little bit, but he had some issues, and only 21st for Shane Van Gisbergen, which is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure he had a penalty or two, so that's probably why, but yeah, unfortunate for him. John Hunter Nemechek with 22nd, Carson Hocevar with 23rd, and Ryan Preece with 24th. And then Corey LaJoie, 25th place, to end out the top 25. Yeah, like I said, Corey LaJoie had some issues, but, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. Would have liked to see him finish better, but, yeah, it just happens like that. Austin Dillon, 26th place finish. He's going to need to do better than that if he wants to succeed. Todd Gilliland with the 27th. Kaz Gralla, 28th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who had some beef with Kobayashi, spun him out, and then Kobayashi kind of bumped right back into him. They had a little incident. There's something with Ricky Stenhouse and these overseas drivers, man. He just has some beef with them. I don't know what it is. But again, like I said, yeah, he gets 29th. Kobayashi finished right after him. Harrison Burton, 31st. Daniel Suarez struggled as well. He got spun. No, he didn't get spun. I think he had a penalty and then ran some weird strategy and then just finished 32nd. Unfortunate. Eric Jones, 33rd. Just unfortunate. Brad Keselowski, 34th, and notoriously not a great road course racer, so that's to be expected. And then Noah Gragson and Josh Berry, 35th and 36th. I guess the inexperienced Stewart-Haas drivers struggle with road courses. As I said, Chase Briscoe finished 13th, I believe, and his counterparts did not do nearly as well as he did. Noah Gragson, 35th. I don't even know if anything really happened to him, so I don't know why he finished so low, but anyway. Josh Berry, I know, got an incident, though. I think he finished 1 or 2 laps down, so unfortunate for Josh Berry. Again, just, I guess, not enough experience with road courses. Hopefully they get better next year or later in the season. Timmy Hill, part-time driver. I think this might be his only race of the season, to be honest. Gets 37th. Hemrick, full-time driver, only gets 38th. I know he was involved in the wreck with Josh Berry, so that's why he finished so low. But still, I mean, these colleague drivers and these colleague and Spire drivers, they gotta figure stuff out, man. It's Daniel Hemrick and Zane Smith have not had good seasons. I wouldn't be surprised if Hemrick gets replaced by next year or two. And then Michael McDowell didn't finish. Had some power steering issues, like I said. Unfortunate for Michael McDowell. He moved up pretty well at the start of the race, and then he played a weird strategy, and then after that, just something terrible bad happened to him. Gets last place. Unfortunate for McDowell. But hey, he still got more points than a lot of these other drivers lower on the list. So, it's unfortunate though. But hopefully he does better in the next coming races. It's weird to see him finish bad on a road course. You don't normally see that with McDowell. And he won a road course last year, which is even crazier. But hopefully he does better in the next road course race. Unfortunate, but yeah, like I said, just a borderline average race. I'd put it right with the rating I had with Phoenix. Both pretty average races, not my favorites. C-tier race. But with that being said, I'll finish this video up, and I'll see you for, was it Richmond next week? I'm pretty sure, no, it's not. Is it Richmond? I can't remember. It's either Martinsville or Richmond next week, but I'm pretty sure it's Martinsville. So we'll see you then.